What are we making today, Bugs? What are we making today? Bench dogs!
Okay, all we need to make our cheap alternative to a bench dog is some scrap lengths of wood like I've got here. This particular piece was used or left over from making my workbench. Basically it is a 1.5 inch thick by 3.5 inch wide piece of pine. It's basically used for stud wall. Also what I'm going to be using here is this foam stuff here, which is basically used for lining toolboxes. Personally I wouldn't recommend it for lining toolboxes because it's actually pretty useless for that, but it has a whole range of other uses around the home which is fantastic. So I'm going to be basically using that, and I'm going to be applying that to the wood with some spray glue, typical carpet type spray glue. Fantastic, you let it go tacky, stick it on, dries, beautiful. So basically this is how it's going to look, just a square piece of wood with some foam stuck to either side, as you can see. Obviously one side would be nice and grippy on the work surface, the other side would be nice and grippy against the piece of work that you're going to have balanced on it. I'm going to make 4 of these. You can make as many as you want, you can make loads of them. Like I said, a nice cheap alternative to the bench dog that you can buy. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to measure up my blocks of wood. Like I said before, the piece of wood is actually 3.5 inches thick, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 3.5 inches down to create a perfect square. Like I said before as well, it's also 1.5 inches thick, so that should be a nice height to raise any workpiece off of the workbench. Okay, so what we have to do now is measure out our foam to the same size as the square blocks and then start gluing. Now we have our foam, we just have to start sticking. Now these come with pretty good nozzles, they're got a nice flat sort of spray along it, so you should get a nice even coating. What you do then is you let it go tacky, or let it evaporate, go tacky. So they're not particularly pretty to look at, however they are cheap to make and they are very practical. They work really well, and you can, like I said, you can make as many as you want, and that whole roll of foam is really cheap as well. I mean, a massive roll costs about £10, so, and you can make loads of bench dogs out of those. So hope you enjoyed that little project. Hope you will be inspired to make your own little bench dogs. Because like I said, they are very useful. Please keep an eye out for my next video, as I will be making some bench hooks. I'm going to be making 2 types. I'm going to be making a more traditional type of bench hook. I'm also going to be making your more modern knock-up piece of bench hook, which is your typical board with just 2 bits of timber slaps on either side at either end. But I'm more interested in making the more traditional bench hook because they're have a bit more functionality about them, and obviously because they're more traditional. So till then, see you next time.